everyone. Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers Chapter 3. We have now started the 14-day celebration of fun-filled events that will show you exactly that everyone has a story to tell. It started from October 24th to November 6th. We are now streaming live on our Readers Magnet Facebook page and Readers Magnet YouTube channel. You can also visit us online at www.thefestivalofstorytellers.com and make sure to sign up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to be updated. I am your host right now, Nelsie, and with me is one of the Reader's Magnet featured author, Margaret Krivchenia. Author of the book Evermore, she'll be sharing with us her journey in writing this book. How are you feeling right now, Margaret?
I'm feeling fine. I'm loving this whole festival. Thank you for inviting me.
That's great to know, actually. So, we're actually really excited to know more about you and your book. So, for the starters, can you share a little bit of background about yourself so your readers and audience will know?
Well, I grew up in Michigan and I graduated from the University of Michigan with a degree in counseling, and I graduated from Wayne State
Mhm.
University, a degree in English. And I never ever thought I'd end up being an author, but I ended up moving to Florida. I was a teacher in Michigan and in Ohio, and then in Florida, I was a counselor for 24 years. And when I
Mhm.
retired and I had grandchildren, I started telling them stories, and that kind of just led me into writing the stories down. And now I have four
Mhm.
grandchildren, and so I began writing children's books for ages 8 to 12, the Four Cousins Mystery Series.
Mhm.
And then the last book I wrote is my first adult novel, Evermore, which was just published in July, and
Mhm.
that's very precious to me.
I see. That's actually really good. Can you actually show your book to our audience right now? There you go. That's her book, Evermore. So to let the audience know, why did you decide to write this book? What's your inspiration behind it?
Well, the inspiration is my family. This book is about my parents, it's about my grandparents, and it's about their story. It's kind of a sweeping tale that goes from the 1930s all the way up to the new millennium. And it's
Mhm.
been on my heart for quite some time to tell this story. It deals with my mother, who's Lisbeth in the book, my father, who's Joseph, and her lost love from her youth, Ian. And it talks about what happened to them, all their trials, all their sorrows. My grandparents are in
Mhm.
there, and it shows overcoming tragedies and sorrows through great faith in God and being strong and realizing that, there is a path, even though the path you may have chosen isn't the one you wanted. God knows what path you needed. And it's the resiliency of spirit. And to me, it is a tribute to my family. And it is romance and mystery.
I see. It feels like a love story from each generation of your family.
Yes.
That's actually, yeah, that's actually really nice. Um, so when you were finalizing actually this book, I can see your title is Evermore, but did you consider other alternative titles with this?
I really thought a lot about what to call
Mhm.
it. And I was listening to I love to listen to music because
Uh-huh.
I was a voice major at one time, and I love to listen to music. And this song came up, Evermore. And I'm listening to the lyrics and I'm listening to the music, and I thought, that's what I want to title my book. That's exactly it. Because Evermore has to do with a love that does not die, the love that stays forever. And so, no, this is the title I really wanted for my book.
I see. Seems like it was destined for you hearing that music forevermore, I see. So also, can you show a little bit your book and the camera? Yes, here you go. I can see that your cover is actually quite interesting. So how did you come up with it?
Well, when I was getting my book published, of course, they
Mhm.
asked what they wanted the cover to look like. And I
Yeah.
originally said, well, there were three main characters in the book. And
Mhm.
I wanted my mother and father, and I
Mhm.
wanted Ian, who is the priest in there, and I wanted the church where they all met. And horses played a great part in it because my mother was the artist and she painted the
Cool.
painting. with a horse in it, and this was a treasure that kind of followed down through the ages. So I told them that I wanted this, and this is what they came up with. And I loved it the first time I saw it. So I'm very happy that they did this cover because it shows the love.
Oh yes, I can actually see that on the cover, and it's actually inspiring also. So just want to know actually, because as you said earlier, your genre is historical romance and mystery, and it's not quite a common genre. So why did you decide to write in this genre with all other genre in there?
Well, I was writing this book, and it was starting out in the
Mhm,
1930s and going to the millennium,
mhm.
and it was a romance, and it is historical. I talk about the Depression, I talk
Yes.
about World War II, and its effect on my family, but that romance, that love that follows through, and then there is a mystery involved. There is a mystery involved. There is someone who really, tears the lovers apart, and so
Yeah.
there's a mystery involved in that that's not really revealed until the end of the book.
I see. That's why. So, if just want to know also, how long was the writing process of this book?
How difficult was this writing process? Um,
Yes.
it took me a good 10 months to write it.
Mhm.
I had my grandparents lived with us, so I had a lot of background of listening to my grandma's stories and reading my mother's journals and having her talk to me. So I had a lot of memories from my childhood. So I basically had to put them all together into fact and fiction, and so it was a challenge. But and I would go through it, and I would reread it, and I'd wake up in the middle of the night, and I'd think, okay, I can change this, I can put this in, this is important. So it took me 10 months of constant writing every day to have it just the way I wanted it to be.
I see. That's quite a bit long writing process also, but to put everything from the story of your parents and the story of your all your loved ones is quite also difficult. So I can see how you've been working hard on it. So
Yeah.
I just want to also ask, when publishing this book, any did it have any significant impact on you or your loved ones?
Well, it had quite an impact
Mhm,
because, of course, we have two sons, and they knew
mhm.
my parents well, but the older years, but they didn't know their young years. So that was a surprise for them. And also, all the friends that also knew us and knew my family, when they got this book, it's generated a lot of talk, a lot of questions, a lot of going out to lunch and
Mhm.
explaining to them what's fact and fiction. And in fact, tomorrow it's going to be the topic of the book club. So it's generated a whole lot of interest. So it's been fun.
That's quite really interesting because it's opened up the doors for everyone to ask you all about the book. So for those who are watching us live right now, you can grab a copy of Margaret's book, Evermore, and also her other book, Four Cousins Mystery Series, is available on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and her website, www.fourcousinsmysteries.com. You can also follow her on her Facebook and Instagram, and you can also order to her with a signed copy included. So for the I just want to ask another questions. What
Mhm.
is the most surprising thing you discovered while you were writing this book?
I just it was the unfolding, it was the revelation of my mom and why she actually acted the way she did as I was growing up.
Uh-huh.
What actually I understood her so much more. I understood her then as a young woman who had lost a love.
Mhm.
And then I understood my father as being such a towering figure, a wonderful man who had saved her from all the depression and all the hard times she had gone through.
I see. That's actually really great. Understanding your parents from where they were started until how they have given you what you have right now also. So
Yes.
while you were writing this book, were there any key challenges that you faced?
Well, there were certain things that I when I was, I wanted to be very careful when I got
Mm-hmm.
into the new millennium, and I was including people who were still living like my sons.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I changed everybody's name in there, but I had to think about what events I wanted to put in there and whether I should or not. So I was careful, especially in the last quarter of the book, to not put in everything that I knew. So and so I was careful with those people who are still living today.
I see. So it's a little
And I
bit,
asked for
uh,
permission if I could say a certain thing.
yeah, that one also. That's why
Yeah.
it's a bit challenging also to write this because you need to ask permissions for on some other people also. So
Yes. For those, can I say this? Can I tell this? Yes.
yeah. So can you tell us a little bit of highlight of writing of this book?
The highlight of this
Yes.
book, as far as I'm concerned, is, it is the resiliency of the spirit, of the human
Mhm.
spirit, and that, love can overcome so many things. Forgiveness, mercy, compassion, and that inner strength that we can find within ourselves. And that my parents were faith-filled people, and my grandparents, and God was their rock, and it saw them through many, many hard times. So that was an inspiration for me, and they were role
Mhm.
models, and they were the best of parents.
Yeah, I can see that with with you right now actually. And God is the center of everything, I think.
He is.
So, yes. So while you're not writing, what do you like to do?
When I'm not writing,
Yes.
I like to sing. I have was
Oh,
started out as a vocal major, and then I
oh,
ended
okay.
up as a counselor, and
Uh-huh.
because I had stripped my vocal cords and they had to heal. But I
Oh,
sing. I sing in church. I work through the church. I work with people to help them and show them how much God loves them. I meet with them, and I spend time, of course, with my grandchildren. I like to cook. I love to cook. So I cook every night. I bake. I love all of that. I love to do any kind of craft, artwork. So I enjoy anything that's kind of like the artsy craftsy, and I'm always in decorating the house, for all the holidays. I absolutely love that. So that's fun for me on my
I
days
see.
off when I'm not writing.
I see that you're on the creative side, and Christmas is coming, so you will be busy on this month, I think, for
I
your
will. The
decorations.
house comes alive inside and out.
Yes. I think everyone will be excited to see your house with that, with the decorations. So, just one last question, even though I'm actually having fun, having talked with you right now and knowing a lot about your book and you actually, um, just one last question. What would you like your readers to feel after reading your book?
I would like them to feel uplifted, and I would like them to feel hope, because all of us go through a lot of hardships,
Mhm.
a lot of suffering. Life is not easy. We have joys and sufferings, but I want them, when they finish this, to have great hope within them that they can overcome, and to put their trust in God, that He does have a path for them, that He walks with them in their joys and their sorrows. And so I want them to, come away with the importance of faith and hope.
That's a great advice to everyone hearing that right now, and also the ones who will be reading your book. So it was actually great to have you with us right now, Margaret. And
Thank you.
actually, yeah, we are actually really thankful also that you are gracing us with your presence right now. And yeah, so all right, everyone, this is Margaret Krivchenia, author of the book Evermore, and also her other book, A Four Cousins Mysteries series. Her book will be available in Amazon. Her book is available in Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and also her website, www.fourcousinsmysteries.com. And again, thank you very much, Margaret. As we
Thank
say
you.
here in Reader's Magnet, we share your story with the world.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much for
Bye-bye.
having this interview today. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.